Drew. Let me get this thing to turn on, hold on.
Jeff shows up.
Then we can do business.
Start. Oh, come on. What's going on with this thing? Okay.
All right. So we are being recorded. We do not have a quorum this evening, so we're gonna have a working session for the Parks and Rec Commission. Review of September meeting minutes. George, I didn't have any edits. They looked really good. Nice job. Thank you. DPRC financial update.
Do you have an extra copy? For the month of September, there was 98.99 loss to the balance, mostly due to Old Home Day expenses hitting, admin costs, soccer expenses coming due, and equipment, facility, and vehicle stuff. However, year-to-date, we're still in a decent position with a balance of $79,000. There was still a gain year-to-date of $12,600. After school being the biggest gain of just under $20,000. Summer day camp, about $13,000. Youth fall soccer, $8,000. Baseball, softball, $2,200. Senior programs, $1,400. And you can see the rest. So offset by losses in the typical areas of admin, equipment, facilities, and Old Home Day.
I think it's outside of the 80 fund, but could we maybe start asking Pete to also send the Joe Stone and the ice rink balances alongside these?
Yeah, we can do that.
I think we have.
Because that was one of the questions I asked. We
Where's it
had a
going?
donation fund, I think, at
Oh, yeah.
ice cream, was it? Were we gonna put that to one of those two?
Where do we land on that for?
We put it in the account just to have it deposited, but if it needs to be shifted, we can do that.
Old
So where do
So
you,
I think it
where do you
ended
think
up
it went?
in Old Home Day.
Old
Yep.
Home Day, okay.
Yeah, just knowing that we had a bigger loss this year with the fireworks
Okay.
increase and stuff, so. That could always be shifted, though.
And I think this consensus or the sentiment last meeting was that we had done so well at the coffee house that, like, the scholarship balance is in good shape.
Right.
That it's over 2,000, I think, that we raised when I look back.
Okay.
Anything else on, and I think we have just around $1,500 in donations for the ice rink, with an application to Focus still pending. So we asked them for $500, and they came back with a couple of follow-up questions, and Rebecca Hutchinson said that they meet at the end of October to formally vote on whether or not they would like to do that.
Yeah, I think it's coming, so.
Yep. So
And our goal was 2,000?
Yeah, I think we were targeting 2 for the liner. The liner is $500, and the water will be
About 1,000.
about 1,000. So we'll actually have a little,
Do we have a
rolling
liner for the
forward.
smaller rink too?
it came with one, yep,
It's a new one, so.
yep, it was still in the box.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Old Home Day is, so was it $5,000 roughly to run Old Home Day? Or is that's actually losses, so if we did we take in 4,000, 4,103? Is that how I'm reading it?
Mhm.
Yeah, the money taken in would have been on last month's thing.
No, it's showing here as
Where-
September
where, at
revenue,
top?
41.
So the 4,100, was that
Year
the
to date.
donations, or was that the
My 20,
Line
like
12.
12.
Fair Association funds too?
Yeah, so that'd be 25 from the fair and, you know, the 600 plus from the ice cream and any other money that we took in for, like chicken barbecue, that would make up your 41 in revenue.
Just trying to figure out what was,
And it cost us $79 to put it on.
Correct.
So the fare was 2,500, ice cream was 600, and then there was another 1,000 somewhere?
Chicken barbecue
Yeah.
sales.
Just revenue
Oh,
from the
okay. Yep.
tickets for the barbecue. We don't bring in any, like any other money throughout the day.
We didn't do an auction or anything like
Not
we
this
have in the
year,
past.
no.
Yeah.
So we only took in about $1,000 on.
Yeah, the numbers were kinda down, yeah, as far as that goes.
And how much did it cost us for all the supplies?
Like barbecue related?
Yeah,
I
was it
think we
more than 1,000?
lost quite a bit. It
Okay.
usually sits around 2,000, I think, with the chicken and then a couple of Sam's Club runs and stuff like that, so it's quite a bit of money. So, and I don't think it quite offset everything this year. As you know, we had a bunch of chicken left over and stuff, so.
Mm.
You know where the money for the block was, for the chicken pit came out of?
That should have been Old Home Day also, because that's really the only thing we use it for.
Yeah, okay. Still wondering.
Or would you call it facility maintenance and repair?
I would have to double check to see if it made it there, but I think it, where it was a one-time thing,
Yeah, probably taking that out.
Old Home
I
Day.
think it probably went to Old Home Day. I can check with Pete though.
Just still
I meant to look and I forgot, before I came here, but the facility maintenance repair, it was pretty high this month, so I didn't know what was in there.
I don't wanna speculate either without going back to look at receipts that we put forward, but I know that we did another spray this month for, the infields at each of the ball fields. That was some of that. Trying to think, mowing always comes out of that, so if we had anything that hit in September, I think that was when our last bill was for Blue Sky, that would be that. And I will have to follow up on the rest, if that doesn't make it, make the amount.
So the thing on Old Home Day is still, I guess, two things is whether do we wanna try to put a line item in the budget for expenses for Old Home Day. Probably, it's too late this year, but we could do it again. And the other thing is to follow up with Focus to see if they wanna be a sponsor,
Mhm.
so,
You're saying, ask for money out of the town budget for it?
Mhm.
yeah, put it in our budget.
Yeah, so we actually have. We've submitted
right.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done that, and we did summer entertainment. We put in for it last year and, the prior year, I think, but we haven't had a budget yet.
Right.
So I just submitted it the same way in
Do you
hopes that
remember
we're.
how much it is?
I think, what did I say, 3,300 for Old Home Day, I think, which was enough to cover like our portion of the fireworks and the band,
Yeah,
like those major things that we just don't get money for.
right.
But would it make more sense, since the town budget hasn't passed the past couple of years, to put it as one of these warrant articles? And say something like, if the town budget doesn't pass, do you, the town wanna authorize whatever?
I think that makes some sense. I know we put in.
It would be a taxation item then, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think
Problem
the,
is that, again, if you put it in as a warrant article and it fails, you can't do it. So you gotta be careful how you word it. If you put it in one of these trust funds, then maybe, the facility maintenance / Old Home Day trust fund or something like that.
yeah, we did confirm that today.
Things cost money, trust fund.
Yeah, expense trust fund.
Right.
I'm just worried putting it as a warrant article, you'd lose
Yeah.
it. And you're better off putting it in the budget, but again, the budget doesn't
But we
pass.
lose the
It's
budget
not
every
looking
year,
good
so
again this year.
we're stuck
Right.
paying for it.
Can you amend the previous article to change the verbiage to expand how many, something that you already have funds that you have approved for? Can you ask to amend that? We want to amend this article to add this, to be able to spend funds on these items. You know what I mean? I don't really,
Creating a line item maybe and moving money from one to another.
like one that's already approved, right?
Right.
Can you ask in the article to amend that, and then if it doesn't happen, you've just lost that one article. Like, you just can't try to re-amend that article with that one item.
I don't think we have any articles that have passed yet that give us any funding.
Okay, well, I
Because
guess that would be
the
first.
Parks and Rec is not part of the town budget, it's a special.
No, Parks and Rec's the town budget.
No, this money is not like this revolving account.
This
Oh.
80 fund
Is a separate.
Is a
Yeah.
separate,
Yeah, okay,
it's not
okay.
part of the town budget, so we wanna, we would like to fund Old Home Day and special events through the town budget, but the town budget keeps failing. So by default, we have to keep funding it out of the 80 fund.
And the 80 fund is supported by programming revenue.
Yeah.
So can you ask to take the Old Home Day and just add it to a already approved budget item, like out of a fund, or does that just squash it forever, you're saying? Like, there's not one that you already have approved, like a budget item from the town,
I mean, in the town budget?
in the town
So the
budget that's
town
approved?
budget's
It's
Nick's
just Nick's salary.
salary.
Eric's half,
Half of
half
Eric's.
now, trying to get whole,
Yeah.
and
That's
that's
it,
it.
Mhm.
yeah.
There's nothing else in there,
So we fund all the vehicle maintenance, facility maintenance,
We pay
electric bills.
FICA, everything for the employees.
Yeah.
But I guess to his point, like, is there a different department line item, like
That you can
a
attach.
different
Fund,
town?
In the town budget.
In the town budget that this would
I
sort of
mean, you'd be
fit?
Probably
taking it
could put
away
it-
from whatever that department was though,
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, it's
You
a,
probably put it under the administration lines, cause it just falls under town administration, kinda. Yeah, I don't know where else it would come out,
yeah, I'd have to take another look at the budget,
the line items.
like, is there a goodwill line for
Are there
can
any
maybe-
lines we don't spend our money on?
highly
Yep.
unlikely
There are some, but they have the ability
to reallocate it?
They do.
And allocate within the budget itself.
So like at
Which
the end of the
doesn't-
year, usually they can slide a bunch over to the highway department and they can go pave a road, cause it's the end of the year and they had money that.
Oh, they can, but they also keep a balance. There's a savings account in them that they keep, you know, for emergency fund. And that's always kept at the end, but, so these warrant articles here are asked for, it comes out of the unused balance. So again, if you had, you know, say you had $500,000 left at the end of
Surplus.
the year, surplus, then you, if this got approved, the 25 would go here, there'd be 5 here, and whatever we do here, out of already taxed
Mhm.
money.
So what do they do with the surplus right now?
The surplus is held into a bank, basically a savings account in case of emergencies, and then they keep, it's set at the end of the year, they keep between, I wanna say 3 and 5 or 6%, and then the balance goes off to set off
To reduce your tax rate.
taxes for the next year. So if you can find, and I can't think of a line item, except something under administration, that you might be able to do what you're saying is you could put a line in there for Old Home Day and reallocate money to it. It's kinda, in a way, that's kinda sneaky, cause you're creating a line without asking to do it, you know what I mean?
So that would be the other question, would we be able to propose that article even though it's coming out of like another branch of the town's government, like trying to take their line item?
Yeah, basically what, say you go under administration, you put a line in there for Old Home Day of $10,000, it would be part of the proposed budget, we'd have to get John to approve that, because that's his budget. And then he would present that in the budget to the municipal budget committee, and then it would go to the town.
Well, so we've already done that, right? You've put a line in there for Old Home Day or special
Mhm.
projects.
Under Parks and Rec, right,
Mhm.
Under Parks and Rec. That keeps failing, so it goes to the default budget.
right.
So when you create the town budget, do you create two budgets, like a default budget?
Default budget's
It's just
set.
a roll forward
So
plus
is
a
default
certain
budget is just
percent.
a sum of money?
The default budget is the previous year's budget plus any warrant articles that create money.
Obligations.
Is it
or-
by
But it-
line item?
Yeah,
So
it's the same budget.
same line
It
items?
just follows, yeah. And if, like, for instance, raises were approved by the Board of Selectmen, that shows up, so that would carry through as an increase in your default that's why your default's usually really close, if not the same as the regular budget. So, best thing would be to, either get it under our budget or somewhere else, but again, it's getting a budget passed. Or we,
Establish another,
Yeah.
or
Expendable
include it
trust
in,
fund.
in one of these, it's.
But if we included in one of these and this fails, that doesn't hurt us to just be able to
Not
do
as
it.
a
under-
trust, because there's no tax money
Okay.
technically. That's why I was suggesting that,
but so if you do a warrant article to establish an expendable trust fund and put 10,000 in it, and in the description you say Old Home Day, and that warrant article fails, can you not then
I
do
don't
Old
think so,
Home
I
Day?
think, no, because you're creating a trust fund and you're not asking for tax funds. You're taking money that's already been taxed,
Okay,
I believe, I'd have to run it by.
That was
John.
confirmed today, because I was up in John's office, and he was able to confirm that. He had to make a call, but when it's worded as a trust fund, it does kind of protect you from being exposed to that, and not being able to spend
no
money.
means no,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And I
Um,
think it's because you're not asking for taxpayer money to raise taxes for
Yeah.
it. You're
Right.
using money that's already been taxed.
Hmm.
And if it fails, you don't take the money, so it doesn't matter. I believe that's.
That makes sense. And it makes me feel better that John had to ask too.
Yeah, oh,
It's
yeah.
his job.
Yep.
It's very confusing, there's so many
Definitely.
moving parts.
So how did we get there? On Old Home Day, you were saying,
Yeah.
would it be a fourth warrant article, or are you suggesting that we should sort of try to kill two birds with the facility maintenance one?
You're talking about this one that's the $25,000
Mm-hmm.
recreational facility maintenance fund?
That's what I was thinking.
Put
I mean,
Old
that's-
Home Day there.
Yeah, that would be. I guess the other thing I'm just a little leery on is we got 3 of them going. I don't wanna overwhelm,
Yeah.
look greedy on everything.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
maybe we just let Old Home Day ride again and see how things come out with the budget. Maybe we'll get surprised.
Yeah, and like you said, if a Focus could
Yeah.
sponsor, or some local businesses could we pursue that sponsorship option
Right.
next year, then maybe you don't look so upside down on that.
Right.
Okay.
Because I think we gotta be careful too, because a lot of people are gonna say, well, how much is in that fund that you have that you never spent?
Absolutely, that would I,
I see $80,000, well, we're not gonna give you any more money.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
happened before, so. Okay.
After-school clubhouse update?
So I don't know if everyone got one, but that was Deb's update. I just had her throw some details together. No major changes since school started. Everything's going pretty well. Right out of the gate, I think we're averaging 45 to 48 kids a day. I'm just gonna steal this because I think I forgot mine. We could still stand to use another staff if we can find one from 2 to 6, but we've been managing pretty well. Eric and myself have been in there kind of bridging the gap as we wait for our high school staff to get in from Concord on a daily basis, and that's been working, fine. And I don't have any really other major highlights to share at this point. It's business as usual, and it's moving along, so we're pretty happy with how it's going.
That's great. And I saw that you were gonna do a dance. Feels like things are
Correct.
a little normal.
Yes.
Exciting.
Yeah, we're gonna do that one outside, Halloween
Bill.
dance. What was the day, Eric?
The
Can you help?
22nd.
22nd. So that'll be a Friday night. We're bringing DJ Phil back for that
Yeah,
one.
my 7th grader was like, hey, I wanna go to a dance.
What grades is it? 3?
3 through 5,
Yeah.
so Charlotte is out of luck, I think.
Yeah, I know.
She can staff
Maybe she
it.
can come and help
Yeah.
if she wants.
Be the chaperone. Can we keep the price the same for after school as it was 2 years ago?
Yeah, so I think even pre-COVID, we had went to $10 a day, But this year, we went to the structure, we kind of carried it over from summer camp that we would just have flat weeks. So it's $50, you know, whether your kid's attending 1 to 5 days a week. And it's been working well, so.
Yep.
Yep. I think we'll probably keep that going forward.
Good.
Ice rink update?
So we had a public hearing and there were a couple comments from it. But it went well, but they wouldn't vote on it till next week, so.
What were the comments?
I think
One
it
of
was confusion. I
Yeah,
think
one of
they
them
thought it was
were
permanent.
Permanent. They didn't want to see a permanent rink there.
And then I got a message from someone directly thinking that it was gonna be a second ice rink, like in addition to. So I just think there was maybe some,
Well, maybe the idea that we have a smaller rink,
yeah.
so that we'd have 2 there, but.
They
Yeah.
didn't want a second rink?
No, they thought we were gonna do both Hartford Brook and the
Oh,
gazebo,
oh,
so
okay.
maybe just some misunderstanding.
Katie also reached out to
Manchester Paving, DeVarney, Halmar, or Bob. I don't, his name is Halmar, but he goes by Bob.
Is that the one that did your driveway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he actually ran for a select board seat this last round.
Yeah, I think he did too.
Yeah.
To
So
see if what he
Jeff,
would
when
level
Jeff
it?
was talking to Jared and Zach, they said they had the equipment, but maybe not the right equipment for grading and leveling.
Right.
And they suggested him, so he said, sure, just put him in touch with who he needs
Oh.
to talk to. So hopefully,
Oh,
if we get the select board's vote on Monday, we can maybe set them off next week,
Yeah, try to get it
get them
going.
together.
Yeah.
And we have about $1,500 in donations, so we'll get the ice rink liner ordered, and then,
Hopefully
and did we
can-
set a date for a workday?
we said the first weekend of November was the target.
As long as,
Yeah.
everything's approved at that point.
Yeah.
We can get it done by then.
Yeah.
Definitely want to shoot earlier this year, so we're not dealing with frozen ground.
Yeah.
One thing that I know Dwight had felt really strongly about last year was being able to have a block of time with sticks and pucks, not hockey, sticks and pucks. So I don't know if, do we just leave it be and it like kind of just last year? Or do we ask Primex to define hockey for us? Because they keep saying no hockey, so if they could define what hockey is, then maybe
Right.
that would be a way for us to.
Right. The other thought is if we do get both rinks set up, you could specify one or the other for, you know, certain
Different
times.
uses.
This is just
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
however it goes. We'll see how the weather goes.
I don't know if it's worth reaching out or not to them.
You can certainly
Just ask them
try it.
for a definition.
Yep.
There might be, John might have something in the list. I know we had a handout from him that were do's and don'ts. It may be
Yeah.
something like that.
Because Dwight knew of at least 3 other communities that have that at their rinks, so the question was how, but,
Right.
Right.
And pretty good chance they're all Primex too.
right, because it's kind of
All
cornered the market, right?
municipalities,
Right.
And there was some of that going on last year too,
Right,
so
so
we
that's- I
should
don't know
know
if
if
it's
there's any
better to-
liability for us.
Well, the signage said no.
Yeah, so
there
that's
wasn't.
kind of, I think, are out there, because we're kind of telling them that they can't, whether they decide to comply or not.
And we don't have someone there.
But like if I was
Supervision's a
there and
big
I
thing.
saw it, do I have a
Right, that's right.
responsibility now?
Right.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of those other towns probably have supervision
Grab
too.
a stick and puck and go.
Is there concern
Well,
about
there was,
damage to the
no, there was
plastic, though?
concern that, there was some more novice skaters there at the time when those people for that use were there, and so it was, Dwight felt like if there was a designated block of time, you could eliminate any sort of people being uncomfortable, I think was his logic. Because you don't want to be, if there's a kid that can hardly stand up, you don't want to have,
Yeah.
Right, but
12.
again, if we have 2
yeah,
side by side, then,
yeah,
you know, one kid wants to play stick and puck, then go over to the smaller rink and just do your thing.
do your handling drills or
Right.
whatever.
There was a little concern with the boards and,
Mhm,
but
that
hopefully
was
if
another
we get it
concern.
done right this year, the boards will go down and cover the liner enough, so we won't have the
We'll
issue.
have pool noodles all over the place.
We did all right for,
For our first year, we did all right.
It was good.
All right, tailgate trick or treat.
Just wanted to give a quick update on that. That will happen Sunday, October 31st, which is Halloween Day. Parking will occur from 12 PM to 1 PM at the fairgrounds, then the gates will close. Be no exit till 2:30, or if we determine that, you know, it's kind of over at that point, people are ready to go, we can go earlier, but we will not open the gate until everyone is ready. Costume parade begins at 1, followed by the traditional kind of run around, grab candy. We will be doing the Best Tailgate Award this year again, and probably a gift certificate to a local business for whoever does the best one. Rec Commission will vote on that. And the concessions will be available again this year from the 8th grade class, so please support if you can, so.
what was the time again? 1 to 2, did we decide just an hour or an hour and a half?
I've got 1 to 2:30 down for the actual tailgate, so, you know, if it's 2 o'clock rolls around and we think everyone's pretty much over it, we can make that call at that point, but
Yeah.
I didn't wanna short everybody if not everyone's done yet.
And do we need a sign-up genius for us or others?
I mean, we could probably just poll the group, see who's able to work, you know, be there for the 2.5 hours. I mean, it's usually just kind of patrolling, kind of walking around, making sure everything's
We need
kosher, somebody at the gate, somebody
right.
at the gate.
We had gate, we had parking.
Gate, parking, and really, once it's going, it's kind of just hovering around, and
It's set up is the
Pick up
big piece.
was.
Yeah.
pickup
picking
was
up with
another
the
thing
trash.
too afterwards, yeah, so. Realistically, it's probably from, you know, 12 to 3, 12 to 2:30 or 3,
And lining ahead of time, or are you gonna do that?
lining.
Yeah,
For, like,
did we
the
used to
spots.
spray paint,
Yeah,
or
I
do we
thought
not
about
need
that.
that? Maybe
Yeah.
just one,
Do it like we did
Yeah, I think we did
last
big,
year.
I think
Oh,
they said
yeah.
it helped a lot.
It was
Yeah.
messed up though, wasn't it?
Was it messed up? Or we,
Or did we mess up the parking? I remember
I
something.
think the first few rows got messed up.
Yeah. It's easier if you have a line, cause you're not,
Yeah,
You
it doesn't
just
go
can't.
like this.
that way you just have them nose it, right,
right,
the car.
you can pull them through and then, and if, you know, we can,
But you could easily grab that thing from Hartford Brook.
Oh, yeah.
For the,
Yeah,
We have the
line.
paint liner we can use.
and then cones too, then we can put cones down each line too,
Yep.
so. Just gotta figure how far apart, that's always the question. How much room in
there's a lot of
between?
big trucks in Deerfield.
True.
There's people that, they're, yeah, decorations too.
Yeah, sometimes they extend.
Have you done that yet?
This year.
It's fun for the kids.
You get a lot of candy,
Yes.
a lot.
There's been a few comments of, that people are upset it's on the same day as traditional. But, what are you gonna do?
Can't please everybody.
No, we can't. It's good, get it.
They can gladly come on the board and voice their opinions.
That's the best answer yet. And then they'll still complain.
Basketball.
Okay, so there's some uncertainty about the parameters that the school might put us to if we're able to have the basketball season. I expect that we will be able to do it again in some capacity. But as we know, there are some things going on over there with their processes right now and how they're still handling COVID. So I did email Kristen, Principal Withy, and Vice Principal Grieve to kind of see where their heads were at with that. They said that they would take some time and meet with a new AD, Chris Kufos, or Kufos, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Haven't met him yet. And kind of discuss where it's going from there, because I think at the last meeting, they did vote to approve extracurricular or fans or families in there for extracurricular activities, if I'm hearing that correctly. So I simply asked if that would apply to Parks and Rec as well in our basketball programs, and she said she thinks it's too early to tell. So I did have 5 questions I basically asked her. They were all very general. Will we be welcomed back as we were last year with our in-house program, or be welcome to bring other towns in? In what capacity can we use the gym? What restrictions will be placed? Restrictions on numbers of people and who's allowed in the gym. And I also asked about adult basketball too, since that's been on a hiatus for a couple of years too. So she didn't have any answers, but she said she'd get back to us in a couple of weeks, so I will follow up. That's really where we stand there. We did have a coordinators meeting with the other towns in our league last week as well. You know, many of those towns are in the same boat. They're still kind of waiting to hear, you know, where things are gonna fall with their own space. But a couple of them have been granted access already with little to no restriction. So that's really it. As far as registration goes, that's gonna launch late this year. Usually we leave it open for the whole month of October, and usually, early November or so, we close. We're probably looking at mid-November this year to close, just so we have enough time to handle logistics and things like that with the season. But that's really where we're at now, and hopefully we'll know more in a couple of weeks.
If we couldn't do, games in the Deerfield gym, could we just do all away games?
That is something that,
Practices in town, just so that, you know, you keep the bubble in, you know, it's the same kids, but
Right.
then, you know, for them to compete if there's another town that is welcoming.
sure. No, that's something that came up in the coordinators meeting as well. New markets in that boat, they're, you know, able to do their in-house stuff, and send kids away, but they won't take other towns in. So that's certainly something we can.
I think Candia would be receptive to receiving all of the above.
I did, I have touched base with Rob already over there, Rob Jones, the president, so we're gonna get on the phone this
I
week.
know they're itching to do,
Fill
to launch.
fill some time.
I mean, I know
or
they've
get some-
launched registration, but they're, yeah, they definitely wanna fill their gym.
At the complex or the school?
The Youth Athletic Association, yep.
So that might be a fallback, you know, if we can't, if we're limited in any capacity this year. Because obviously the goal is to get it back off the ground the way we normally do it, compete against other towns, you know, give them the full experience. I think for what it was last year, the in-house program was solid. But, you know, it's a little repetitive, a little redundant. You know, they're just kind of coming in, doing skills and drills throughout every week, every practice session. So we can give them more, we want to try and do it.
Yeah, it'd just be too bad to have them lose another year, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Not really seasonally, but, I think you had a group of like 7th and 8th grade boys that were looking to continue, like they did the outdoor court. I
Mhm.
think that's a good opportunity for another offering once the weather gets nice to do, like, I don't know whether they were just doing pickups or skills or.
Yeah, I think,
With Rebecca Fisher was, I think, involved in that.
absolutely.
I don't know if you charge like something for a 6-week session or just have them drop in like adult basketball, but seems like an easy way to make them happy and
Do
make
that
some money.
Give 'em
Yeah,
something
they
to
were
do.
outside, yeah. It was during the summer, right?
Yeah, I think even recently, I think Scott Scheimer was out there with a couple of the kids, because one of his boys is in that age range, playing the school ball, and I think they were just looking for court time ahead of the season, so.
Yep, yeah.
Yep.
If it does get stuck in-house where you can't travel out, you know, but you can bring the people from the community in, maybe reach out to like someone from Co-Brown that's been to like the Exeter programs and have like an in-house skills training session.
Clinic or something, yep.
Clinics.
Yep.
To help build the skills, because the kids aren't having the opportunity to get out and compete against other people, their skills are gonna start to fall off.
Mhm.
For sure, yeah. We definitely have connections, we've had coaches in before to do that type of stuff, so, you know, if that's what we end up with and that's all we can do, we'll definitely try to diversify it as much as we can. Good thought.
Would, another community be willing to host our program? Like, would Co be willing to be our home?
Maybe at the gym in the old building, yeah, maybe, but
Is that gym still there, the old one?
been there many years, but
I didn't
think
know if
so.
they made it into classrooms or anything, but.
it used to be a study hall when I went there, but, I mean, that was years ago. But the nets were still there, and it's like, they would kind of break it up, you know,
Yeah.
maybe the newcomers into the school would use that for just basic fitness, but might be worth asking,
Interesting.
Headmaster Smith.
I don't know if now is the right time to talk about it, but I saw Nate was interested in stepping down as the head of the basketball.
Yep.
Do we have anybody interested?
And O'Brien is still technically on as another person too. Outside
Well, we
that, I'm
need
not sure
to-
though.
So we have a set of maybe 8 or 10 subcommittees that we try to, when there's things that maybe take more time than we can cover up in these meetings, that they can devote to that. So like baseball, softball, basketball, Old Home Day,
Special events.
special events, summer camp, and after-school clubhouse. So Nate was on the basketball subcommittee, and he's gonna retire from that. So, but as a member, we should get you on some of them, as many as you like. I can email the list to you separately, and you can think about what maybe where your passions lie. Special events, maybe you could fold the mountain biking idea into that, sort of. Yeah,
Ice rink's his passion too.
yeah. You can sign up for
Start off
everyone if you
Saturday,
want.
Sunday.
You sort of get signed up for all of them, but these subcommittees is like you're owner of it.
You may not get signed up for all of them, but you're on
You get
all of
voluntold
them.
to do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Voluntold.
But Nate put in a lot of time for
With the adult
basketball.
basketball, I think, right? He was the head of that.
Yeah, he was kind of supervising it for us, and did a lot of coaching and things like that, and assisting last year
Oh,
too.
yeah, coaching, yeah.
Or maybe there's a member of the community that will be interested in
Mhm.
serving in that capacity.
Yeah, like you mentioned Shimer, or, I don't know,
Yeah, I think there's probably
if you
quite a
have
few
someone coming up through
candidates
with
out there.
Young,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Purington comes to mind.
I
Kyle?
think in the subcommittee, in the bylaws, doesn't it say that it doesn't even
I
have
think
to be a
it's
member of the
community
commission,
members,
right?
yeah,
So-
because that was the soccer model
We
that,
just welcome them right on.
Yeah, just hopefully have
just to get an ear
someone
and,
from the commission that kind of heads the group up, but
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a commission.
Right.
and maybe when you launch registration, when you're asking for volunteers, maybe you ask at that point.
Absolutely.
So I'm assuming the Hoop Classic is off, or at least on hold till you find out.
Yeah, I
whether
mean,
they
if-
come in or not.
Yeah, if they're able to welcome other towns in and they don't have a problem with it, we'll still shoot for it. We're already getting asked about it, so.
It's unfortunate because our goal, right, our mission is to make sure that every kid can play, and it's in these last 2 years, the kids who are in the programs that are revenue oriented are continuing to play, and the kids that are in the programs that are rec and open and welcoming are really getting the wrong end of the stick.
I wonder, though, if we could reach out to another facility and run the program, just not from Deerfield. Could we just still have a Hoops Classic, but it be from
Co-Brown.
Raymond, Co-Brown, wherever would welcome us, or wherever's,
Or even Candia, you know.
Candia,
I'm gonna have a conversation with Rob this week and. you
Nate
know.
felt like that was maybe too small for
Yeah,
the
it's,
spectators. end of
yeah,
it.
yeah, the spectating, that might
But-
limit us, but.
Yeah,
It might not be a bad thing this year to limit spectators on, if it all opens up.
Right.
But the other issue going out of town is, we know we can't get
volunteers
anybody to
can't
help
even get
in
to show
town,
up in
so
town, so,
you're not gonna get somebody to travel to Raymond to help run
Yeah.
the gate.
right.
I know, it would fall to us. Plus your staff.
To wait and see.
But you might be able to engage maybe some high school kids at that point. You have a broader population.
Mm.
I know it's hard.
It still goes back to whoever's, our teams are, each team parent has to step up and do something. You can't just throw money at it and say, someone else will do it. Need the bodies.
Mm-hmm. All right, warrant articles. We kind of talked about them already. Did you get a copy?
Yep.
Comments, questions, concerns?
25,000 for the first one seems like a lot to me.
And you know, I didn't print out that thing, but I think I forwarded it to you guys, the initial breakdown of all the money that was in it. Had
Yeah.
14 to 15,000 on it, and then I had something come in right after too, that brought us right up between 22, 25,000. So that was, just to have that support was,
Was it all annual stuff, or did it include like the fence?
there was no fence in it this time. It would include things like mowing, your field maintenance, all of the spraying that we did this year, to take care of the infields, the ticks. Ticks were a hot topic this year. All of those types of things would be in there. I think tree trimming's in there. That's a constant thing that we have to deal with every year. We didn't do any trimming this year, but it will be due again next year, which is a big expense. There's a whole list of things and our receipts from just over the past couple of years and things we spent money on. So, you know, it accumulates pretty quickly. You know, the courts are definitely they're done, they're due to be redone. The tennis and basketball courts are starting to crack and stuff, so, you know, the longer we let those go, the more of an issue it will be for us to fix it. I think it's 2017 was the last time they were done, so they definitely need to be at least touched up, if not resurfaced altogether, so.
And when we have, is it, what's the meeting where you can support this? What's that meeting called?
Deliberative.
A waste of time.
Well, yeah.
Deliberative session.
Deliberative session.
Is that the place where you would kind of have the support for this and present it to the 10 people that are there?
No, I think it comes from the budget committee meeting, right?
I think
So
it's,
there's a public hearing, and the budget committee holds a public hearing on everything, and then at the deliberative session, you can
Change it.
change it.
Okay.
You can add or take out of any of the items, any of the budget.
But
So I'm just
this,
wondering
I don't
where
think
you
would-
get where you can get the word out for why these are important and to go through and list that kind of stuff, because if I were looking at this as just an uneducated person, I'd be like, well,
You know, it might be
25,000 is a lot
smart
of
on our
money.
part to
Put an article in the forum.
a flyer,
or-
no,
yeah,
mail
or-
it.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, some sort of thing where we can get the word out to people.
Why?
The only way is a flyer. The only way is a mailer. And actually, you know, you can mail this out with an explanation for each
Yeah.
one.
Those cost-
I mean, it's an expense, but it's the only way.
It's a lot of money, right, to do a townwide?
Well, don't you
How
get the
much
free
is it? A couple
postage though if it's in
$1,000 or
town?
But
I know, but.
it's the only way, is nobody comes to any of the sessions, nobody comes to the budget committee, nobody comes to the meetings, nobody cares enough to be bothered, so
How many folks show up for the deliberative session?
10 or
10.
12, maybe.
Same folks.
Yeah, it's all those special interest group too, you know, that's what we get told every year. It's because we care.
I think organically, you could ask every commission member to commit to speaking with 15 people on the top, you know, like, they need to hear the same message consistently from us, and it needs.
But I'm gonna talk to the people
I
that,
know,
you know,
that
have
I've talked-
kids, right?
yeah.
So you wanna get the,
Outside that group.
right.
I think you have to do a mailer, I think,
I know, you're right, I know.
find out from John what it costs, because the town, I mean, actually,
Well, don't they do
they do a town mailer.
and the forum, I think you could use the forum a little bit. They do candidate profiles, and
Yeah.
isn't there a mailer that comes out with, in print, with the candidates' profiles? That you could get in there somehow?
Well, I don't think.
At one time,
I
I
mean,
thought
we
there
could do
was.
it cheaply
Was the
and
Suncook
put
thing?
like, you know, printed off stuff and leave them at the library, at, you know,
The only
whatever.
way you get them is to mail them to them. They're not gonna pick them up. If they see them, they're not gonna, if they don't care, they don't care. Even mailing them, they're just gonna toss them. So maybe 50% or 10% will at least look at it and say, oh, well, that makes sense, and at least you try.
The town doesn't send it out proactively before the deliberative session for everyone, a hard copy?
Of just
Or is that
the
the, someone
description
in
they
the,
do, yeah.
it would just be this,
It
but
would
you're
be the
looking for
ballot.
more description than what's
Yeah,
just
the
on the sheet?
why, you know.
Okay.
Like Jeff said, $25,000, that's a lot of money. Well, but if you add in, you know, tick spraying and mowing and basketball courts and tennis courts, and then
Actually
somebody
list-
says,
With the
wait,
number.
the town doesn't pay for that stuff? And no, the town doesn't pay for,
Right.
you know, so I think it's, some of it's just education, because I didn't know before I was on here that, you know, all this stuff was funded through
The
the after-school program, you know, and then we didn't have the after-school program for a year. And so we lost a lot of that ability to fund this kind of stuff.
I mean, I think it would be money well spent to get this information out. I really do, and I, maybe check with John and see how much it costs, but it's either send our own out or see if we can't tag onto the town one. The town will put out, ahead of time, they put out, a flyer that talks about the budget, what the number is, what the default budget would be.
The voters got, like a voters
Voter's
guide thing,
guide.
yeah.
It doesn't break down the budget, but then it has all these warrant articles. You'd see this, exactly like that. It would have that description for
And
that
then
warrant
the one we get from the town, like it's like folded white pages, it'll say MBC
Right, approved or
500,
selectmen.
selectmen,
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
Can you post the rationale behind this on the DPRC's,
Yeah.
ERPC's
Mhm.
Yep.
Facebook
page, Facebook page?
website,
Mhm.
yeah.
To get it out, because that'll start circulating, because more people are looking at that media than they are probably flyers.
But again, it's probably only the people that have kids
True.
in Parks and Rec programs that are seeing that.
You could just start going to every select board meeting and public comments, doing a pitch, right? It doesn't have to be anything germane to what they're doing on their agenda.
Yeah, even that though, I still think the only way to get it to everybody in this town is to mail it. I mean, I don't know how many people really watch the selectmen's meetings or.
I think a fair amount may read the minutes, maybe,
Yeah, I don't know.
maybe
I
50 or
don't.
so.
It's tough, it's very hard in this town to get the word out about stuff. That's the big issue everybody has, is we're not informed. Well, how do you want us to inform you? My neighbor says, I didn't know anything about it. I said, well, did you read the flyer? I didn't get it. Did you look online? I don't use online, it's like, so, hey,
I
Yeah.
know.
we even talked about neighborhood coffees, having
Mhm.
everybody in their neighborhood have as many of your neighbors in and talk about stuff. I mean, that's what we did when we did the school. But
We
I
can do
think-
a campaign on constant contact too. I mean,
I was gonna say an email campaign.
we have
or-
like 500 contacts on that, and unless we up it, it's gonna cost more for our subscription, but that, we can hit at least a good chunk of people that way too, just to get that word out. And that is like our people that use our programs.
Probably a third of those vote.
Hey,
Well-
whatever we can get.
Yeah, no,
How does emergency management, like if something was really going on, how would they get it?
They have that is it Pixel or, isn't there some Pixie thing?
through 911, isn't there? There's,
Like a text alert goes out to your
Yeah,
phone?
there's some sort of thing that goes out, but this isn't an emergency.
No, I know it's not an emergency. I'm just thinking like how do you get like more emails on your email list or that are not parents of kids in your programs?
Mm.
Like how do you
there's 60 plus that don't want to pay property tax anymore
you solicit like,
because their school tax.
like do you solicit the church for all their members' emails? Like
I think that's just
anyway,
a lot of work to be done there, but. So you're comfortable with the 25, I mean,
it's defendable.
I think it is.
And then the
the
vehicle,
vehicle, what do you, you're looking to build money up to buy something, this isn't,
I think we just need like a used truck or something, or even the cargo van that we had before we had to get rid of it, that was fine too. It's just, we have a passenger van that wasn't designed to do the stuff that it's doing. It's pulling a trailer for these events, and it's, we're throwing stuff in the back on the benches, and, we're supposed to be using that for,
transporting people.
transporting kids and, teen trips in the summer, those types of things. We're not gonna have it if we keep beating the heck out of it, so.
So is the $10,000, is it 15,000, 10 from taxes and 5 from?
I had it as 10 total, because I think we can get a used truck. It doesn't have to be anything that has to go, large distances or anything like that.
So why, I guess I'm just confused on the wording, so if this,
So it'd be a 50-50 split, basically, is what it would be. So if the town
we
agreed
don't
to,
have to ask them to raise the 5,000, we just have to ask them, we just have to ask for a $5,000
5,000, that's all it is, yeah. So it's the total with 5,000 coming from
So
us.
could you say, see if the town will vote to raise $5,000, with a match from the Parks and Rec?
You have to put in, you're raising the amount and then say how you're gonna offset it. So this is
Okay.
this is worded right, 10,000
I was gonna
first,
say-
and then offset with 5.
Okay,
It's just I think it's just the way it's worded.
so it's really a $5,000 increase to taxes net.
It's 5,000 out of the reserve,
Slush,
out
the
of slush,
surplus.
yeah. No money raised from taxes.
Okay.
But I would make sure you put in here, to be used to purchase a used utility vehicle.
Yeah, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a reasonable truck for $10,000.
Me too.
Even
That
a
would
used
be,
one.
that would be deemed safe
Not a
to
piece
be
of
used, because I mean, we're also at a liability, right, if that thing crashes. I mean, obviously it has to be inspected and whatnot, but
I was thinking
So I'm not asking for enough this time? That's
what
I'm
I'm,
saying.
what I just don't know what
I
you're
don't
gonna get for
think so.
$10,000.
$10,000, I mean,
A farm
A
truck.
Yeah,
30-year-old
I'm thinking just
Ford
like an
Ranger.
older truck, yeah, like a
Yeah.
2010 something, I don't know.
Hello. Hello.
Hey,
Do you guys have a 7 o'clock meeting?
Planning board?
Is it 7? Okay, we'll wrap up by then. We're the,
On the board, I'm just.
oh,
Here
are they
it is.
here or are they upstairs?
Well, we're the
So my
first
other-
Wednesday of the month, so.
I mean, my other thought would be to reduce the 25 to 15 and raise the 10 to 20.
mm.
have you looked out there? Do you have something in mind?
I started to look, yeah. I don't have anything nailed down, of course, because this is months away.
Right.
For sure, yeah.
But, yeah, I've started to definitely look, and I think we could get something, like, I didn't want to over-ask for, like, this, brand spanking new vehicle or any, I don't think we need that. Just some stuff to cart, stuff around town, put the trailer on it when we need it to bring stuff around to events, transport basketballs to the school back and forth, do trash runs, that type of thing. I don't think we want a brand new truck for that.
I think you're cutting yourself short.
Do you have a better? what's
I
the
would go
amount?
at least 15 and go 7.5, split the 15.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion.
You don't have to, right? You can always come in under.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and I would just look around, make sure that's enough.
If you found something, that's fine, that's great, but, and then the last one, I think, I would put, establish a community center and field development trust fund. Because you do mention field development down further in the description.
So just change the name of it?
Yeah, I do the community center and field development trust fund,
Okay,
just add and field development.
sure.
And then ask John too to find out about making sure we can accept donations to it. I don't know if it has to be worded differently or if it's just if somebody decides they wanna donate $1 million to our cause, we'll wanna be able to take it. Or $1.
Or $1.
That's what I was just looking at.
So, this, the outdoor field space, would that be a third set of fields then, that we'd have to maintain?
Yeah,
In theory.
The idea is to use the school property, the property that the school bought over off of 43.
Yeah.
And there's plans already made, there's already developed plans for field space, so.
Would you get rid of using bicentennial though, or, one of those and just,
Maybe we can work around so you're not overusing any particular field. I mean, we're looking at, years down the road if it happens.
yeah,
But it's just be nice to use that space.
I know, I agree.
You know, John was talking about getting a group together to talk to the town, the school about
Yep.
doing something too, so.
Yep, he's definitely willing to help us approach them about it too, so.
That'd be good. I think it's a great idea.
Anything else on the warrant articles?
No, I'm done. Sorry.
Other business, I'm sorry to report that I'm gonna be finishing my role with you all at the end of the year. So you can nominate Erica next month to be the chair.
Dwight. Or chair becomes chair, that's how it works, right?
We have 2 meetings to sort.
Is your term up?
No, it is not. I'm being a
Sorry,
quitter.
no 7 o'clock meeting.
Oh, sorry about that. Nope, I'm,
Bailing out on us.
it is the year of quitting. My 7-year running streak died this year, so is my civic streak.
You 7 year what?
I was doing a mile a day for 7.5 years, and I stopped
kidding.
that this year.
Doesn't it feel good though, like a
No,
weight
it
off of
doesn't.
you, like, cause now you can do it whenever you want.
No, I started back at 0. So that'll have two vacancies. Hopefully we can get some new, fresh, excited people. All right,
Right.
that's,
We'll adjourn.
any other business? No?
No.
Yeah.